So it definitely spawns this radial physics actor. And then, yeah, that's supposed to just pop off. Disable proxy because proxy's not helping. Now that one just appeared like all the way down there under the floor, so that's not good. Location is the actual balance hit direction. pressed the debug button to kill myself. Okay. Yeah, that's more like it. Cool. So I've got one thing to change on here, which is I guess I have a dead fairy on it, as that was the story. Used to have the dead fairy with Alright, yeah, so I want to create a pickaxe, so let's just duplicate this, and we'll just call it pickaxe, drag that into the game, bring it up, take a quick look at it, so call it pickaxe, take a look at the viewport here, so what's that? Sure, if I just type in pickaxe, we'll probably get something straight away. Yeah, cool, so we've got that. If I just press E, take a look at pickaxe. I feel like it's the wrong way around. But now I have a pickaxe, so that's pretty cool. It's kind of a small pickaxe, so it's wasn't the kind of pickaxe I was hoping for, I suppose. Yeah, I guess it's just what it is. That's right here. Yeah. It's not super cool. One thing I do want to make sure is that it's actually clicking in the right direction. It's like, that feels almost the wrong way around right now. Now it's definitely the wrong way around. There we go. Picking on the picky end. Yeah. Getting any effort sounds out of this. So let's go look into that quickly because that's not great. So we've got item config, equipped, melee actions, use primary blunt. So go to blunt heavy. To do blunt heavy we have some animations somewhere. is prevent nuke, so we don't want that. What we want is stop farthest and oldest, so that we always got the one that's most important to us. Another thing we want to check quickly is the lighting intensity, because I'm pretty sure this location here is probably absolutely glowing. So we go optimization, lighting, and yeah, you see this is pretty bad. And we got all these over here as well. Yeah, it's not ideal. Those ones are being created by particles. The idea was that these would be powered by like emissive. But yeah, we've got some problems. Let's get rid of these for starters. So that's not the worst, and then it's just a question of is it actually valuable? Is it doing something for the game? That's cool. The answer is kind of like we've got this light ready here. Got light radius. if it is a case of brightness, how do I make it brighter? Well, I don't know what I'm doing there, so I'm just going to actually do it. Figure out the time, just because basically now I'm out from this station, it's all good. Okay, so quick double check, nothing happens, pickaxe, smash it. Very cool. Right, I've got a gameplay marker. If I put that gameplay marker in the scene, I can see this like 3D mesh because it's set up by default as the polygon guide, but if I was to set it as fracture or, for example, it doesn't show me anything. And so, fresh and visual layout doesn't do anything, so what I need to do edit this gameplay marker. We've got a skeletal mesh in here that I believe is set to editor only. Yeah, it's editor only, that's cool, but we also need a static mesh. There's also editor only static mesh with no collision. And also, you know, just various other things like doesn't affect navigation, doesn't affect lighting, turn all these things off so that never happens. This is stuff kind of practice with like setting up an active. You just got an AI driven game, right? You don't want things that you're doing the scene affecting stuff. So another thing as well is to make sure it doesn't affect level bounds, because it's basically what it is. What's the pulsating circles? So there's an editor visualization for light intensity, light complexity. So those circles were light sources that were growing and shrinking and sort of like creating this sort of fantasy and lighting vibe that I wanted for the magic effect. But just take a quick look at the optimization view modes, which you can kind of get to them from this lit tab. You can go to optimization. You can have a look at shader complexity, so you can see these ones are coming into this kind of range on this bar at the bottom. You've got like from green to white, and white is bad, so anything in my scene that's white would require me to go take a look. This red area here, which I'm actually in, and I'm looking at just this, you can see this PS here is like where I'm sitting, and it's like red is bad, and this is verging on bad, so there is an optimization that, you know, could be done there. If I were to go and actually look at this material, for example, I could try and determine what part of this massive material is causing the issue, and I would hazard a guess that it's this well-aligned mottle. So I could, for example, get rid of that mottle and then just go, this is going to break a lot of things if I do it, because it's going to get rid of all these properties from my materials. So see here that we've got this like albedo multiplied by the multiplied by the multiplied. Like everything is running this code here, so I'm actually kind of curious if I were to just go, well, what if I just do this instead? Does it make it cheaper at all? Is it not to be used anywhere else? It's not used anywhere else. It's also using this weather effects thing, so it could also do that. Now if I go to my area and hit apply, does it get cheaper? No, it doesn't get cheaper. So now I know that solved the material complexity issue in the game, where we've still got some complexity down here, and I'm going to say that's probably a translucent material with some reflection on it. But yeah, in that optimization view mode, in shader complexity in this case, I've just established that like the snow, dust and weather effects system that comes from ultra dynamic sky is actually costing me some performance, but I'm okay with that because it looks sick as hell. So we're going to shove it all back in. Basically, we're not going to take that away from the game. It's going to stay in the game. And maybe there's something, that I could look at inside these if I so desired, which I don't. Anyway, I don't want to save that material because it's not making any changes. So the other view mode that I was looking at, the other materials, the other optimization view mode I was looking at was lighting. So here, if we were to just look at the lit scene, we can see that there's like some point lights in here. And when I go to the optimization view modes and look at light complexity, you see every overlapping light will cause an issue. So kind of go and look at that. If I was to check out this material here, this light, sorry, and I could maybe just turn a couple of things off, like does it affect translucency? No. Does it cast dynamic shadows? Does it cast static shadows? No, no, no. Does it affect that? Does it affect this? No. I'm going to turn all that stuff off and go back to my scene, compile this. See, that doesn't actually make a difference apparently. So, despite not having any other permutations in there now, we're not getting a better system. Yeah, so it's essentially just overlapping lights causing an issue. But it's like, the only thing I can do about that is like when I get back here is have this max draw distance, where I say, alright, the max draw distance is 1000 units. So as I get closer, it will turn on. And I can say there's 1000 units of fade as well. Max distance fade range. So we could just basically make it so that if this thing is a distance away, it's a little bit cheaper. So that's okay. At least then when you're on a different part of the world, you're not paying for that light complexity. Which actually might be a way to optimize this. The issue is I can't really put lights onto these guys because you're going to want to place a decent amount of these in certain places to like lock packs and stuff. So I can't really put lights emanating from these guys like I did before, because they had like the magic sort of effect. But anyway, that was what I was looking at for that question. And the music is really loud, sure. Oh yeah, I turned it right up, didn't I? Yeah, I forgot to turn the music down. Yeah, just in summary, for the fact that you couldn't hear my voice, is these are light complexities. You don't want to go basically anywhere in this direction in terms of how it's affecting the scene. You want to keep it in the good area. I mean, green is even bad apparently, so it's like, okay. So basically keeping this to a minimum, keeping your scene look like this is what we want. And then the other optimization view mode I was looking at was shader complexity. So this is actually pretty bad, but I can't really afford to remove it because it is how all of the weather effects are sorted, and the weather effects already add to the game. So that's gonna stay at some expensive count, which is just in this red here. So it's not quite in a real red where it starts to get really bad. and it's not pink and it's not white, so yeah, you just don't want it to be white basically. Now, interestingly, some of these guys are actually cheaper than others, so it's like, oh yeah, these guys don't have the right shader. So it's actually need to fix that. So none of these characters are using the correct shader. However, that guy is... This guy seems to be using the correct shader. So all I've got to do is take a look at this character quickly. We've got this Dark Fantasy A, so it's like Dark Fantasy. So I've got this Polygon Dark Fantasy here. So if I just double check. So I actually changed this color, which I don't want to do. So what I need to do is duplicate this Dark Fantasy character, whatever. Go look at this guy's material. Pop that open, pop this open. And now what I'm going to do is parse the materials from the left side over to the right. And then go and apply that material here. Yeah, so this guy's back to being the colour I wanted, and then I just got to change these guys as well. In fact, I basically got to change this entire set. So like asset actions, bulk edit via property matrix. We've got a material in here that we want to change. So we just click on the material instance. We look like this. We just click like character B. Donk. Save all of those characters. And now you can see, yay, now they're all super expensive to render. Which is both good and bad. This guy's also got like a hat of some kind. So it's like one of the things that I did last time actually was just replace the material. So oh, that's pretty cool. He's got a little hat in there. So I got to find it's like a hood of some kind. Go find this material, right click, asset actions, replace references, and I go to my material library, consolidate those assets. This hat and all other things that we use in that material will now transfer as long as it doesn't crash, which it did. So yeah, sometimes that kind of operation is bad if you've got a bunch of stuff open. Alright, cool. We'll just reopen the editor quickly. So what was I doing? I was replacing a material with another material. Sorry. Polygon master. B. Consolidate assets. Save literally all of those things. And now you see all the hats and stuff have that same like motto on it. That is just like an aesthetic choice that we put into this game. Yeah, all the skeletons have it as well now. Cool. So, yeah, we're setting up a gameplay marker, and there was an issue where you can't see what you're placing. So you got the static mesh that is represented as like nothing, and we look at the construction script. We've got this refresh editor visual. We get the random actor from the list, and if it's valid, then we ask if it's of the class polygon, and if it is, then we get some information from that asset. Otherwise, what we do is we set the skeletal mesh to false, and kind of what we also want to do is if the class is valid but it's not, yeah, we want to come down here and we want to actually set up a static. So what we can do is we've got this thing here. See, we're getting the row config there. This might be a little bit risky, but let's give it a shot. So if it's not a polygon character, I'm going to promote this class to a local variable, L visual class, I guess. And what we'll do with that is we'll take it, we'll get the default. Can we just construct an object from this? In the instigator, no, there isn't one. The outer is me. Self. And what this allows us to do is have an actual actor of the type. So then we can get components of class. And we can just look for static mesh components. And if that's valid, what we could do is just set static mesh to the static mesh that was being used inside the actor itself. So this is just like editor tools stuff. Now I'm a little bit wary of actually changing that, so I'm just gonna, just in case it crashes, right? What I really want to know is if this is an editor time or not. So what I'm going to write in here is something like get game instance, and if the game instance is not valid, I'll write a little if not valid is editor time. So we're only going to run this logic at all in the editor. We're never going to run this in the main game. I'm actually also destroying the skeletal mesh just in case it's still valid. So what I'll do is, I think it's because in the editor it actually is still valid. So we'll do this to both of these. We'll go to the construction script, refresh editor visuals as long as the game instance is not. If the game instance is valid, don't do it. If the game instance is not valid, do all this stuff. Construct an actor, steal its static mesh. Cannot construct objects of actor. Cannot construct objects of the type actor. So what I need to do is editor subsystem. maybe? It's not going to let you do that. That kind of sucks. How would I fix this? I really want to get static from it. So I can get all these cluster faults, but they're useless. Why am I not allowed to construct this? Well, it looks like I'm not going to be able to visualize the shape of this goddamn thing, which is super annoying. So what we could do instead is have a child actor and set the class to whatever the class was that we picked. And we'll get rid of this skeletal or static mesh or whatever. We will come into the event graph and grab this child actor and say, hey, if this is something, please destroy it. Also get child actor. If that's valid, then please destroy it. Destroy this actor if it's valid. And also destroy the component afterwards. We just don't want it in the game. So what I'll do is clean this up a bit. So now we've got a little sequence. If the skeletal mesh is valid, destroy it. If this child actor is valid and it has a child actor, destroy it. If the child actor, and then destroy this. Cool. And then in the construction script we got this. So what we could do is we could actually say, hey, if it's a runtime, just clear the child class. So now we're seeing like an actor in here. So I could say like, okay, so this is a cage. This is a blueprint cage. This is a fairy cage. We can basically put whatever we want here. And what I want to make sure is that it never actually creates the thing. So we'll have it randomized between or and, yeah, so now it's randomizing between or and fairy cages. And when I hit play, yeah, it's not there. Show collision. It didn't spawn. One other test that I'm going to do is in a new level, like a blank level. We can save the gym. We'll just get a gameplay marker. We'll drop that in the scene, and so it comes in default as this character. And what I can do is I can go to this character and I can find out if it constructs by hitting this key. So it didn't construct, so that's good. And then if I were to pick like fairy cage instead, can go and have a look at that actor's sort of like put a print on here, and I can put a print into its construction script as well. I think now when I move, if I delete that and then go fairy cage, it should be giving me some output logs. Yeah, see, I got this output log here, hello, and there's all these other hellos that are happening. So the output log's super handy because it basically, you can right click it, clear it, and then see things as you do it. So as I'm moving that, you can see now I've got like 96 instances of it. And so to fix that, what I could actually do is say get child class is not equal to visual class. So if I'm already representing this class, don't do it again, else as we drag it around the scene, we're going to create a lot of instances of it. The other thing we can do to fix that as well is in the class settings, we can tell it to not run the construction script on drag. So we don't really need the construction script of this to run on drag, we just need it to run the moment that we drop it, after we've moved it, right? So now we've got two nice little fixes for that tool, which is firstly, the child actor is going to be a editor-only visualizer here. It doesn't need to tick, for example. This neither does this really. It doesn't need to tick. It also doesn't need to affect anything. It also doesn't need any collision, if that's the thing. Yeah, so that's a nice little optimization. And then there was the class settings, like don't run the construction script when I'm dragging it around. So now if I'm dragging it, oh, of course it still bloody does it. Why is it still doing it? I guess it's going to run... If the child actor class is not equal to the visual class, then the visual class goes on. Yeah, so it is still running both, which is just bewildering to me because I basically turned off running a construction script on drag, so it shouldn't run that construction script whilst I'm dragging it. Like, that shouldn't be a thing. Put the gameplay marker in. I don't get any prints. Put a cage in. I get hello from the cage itself because we put a debug hello in here, and I get a things from the actual actor itself. But yeah, this shouldn't happen. I'm getting like 281 instances of this actor in the scene, which based on my settings shouldn't happen, but it is happening. So I mean, I've even got a thing here that says only change it if it's different. So that's cool. Not sure why that's happening. Alright, cool. I'm just going to get rid of all these prints that I was making. Oh well, at least this works good. And then, oh, the other thing was just double checking that it doesn't ever print. Yeah, so if I put an F9 on here and an F9 on here and hit play, so we are hitting the construction script of the cage twice, 3 times. Then we're hitting the begin play of the cage. So yeah, that is actually happening. And so what I can do to this does kind of ruin certain parts of the game, but what I can do is set this to like 50 seconds. So I'll do this as like construct. I'll do that at 50 seconds as well. I'll do this as begin. then what I'll do is basically run it in standalone and see if I get those prints, because test print. Yes, save everything. So what I'm doing now is just double checking. I set those settings to be editor only, so when I launch it in standalone like this, I shouldn't see any of those prints. We do get the begin and the construct. And then I think it deletes it afterwards, right? So if in my gameplay marker I was to not run this final cleanup here, probably actually have one just sitting in the scene. Yeah. It is actually still there. It's just like half visible, which is really bad, basically. It makes it very useless for a editor visualization because it actually exists, which is exactly what I didn't want, because I typed in his editor only. I mean, maybe it does get excluded when it's cooked, but yeah, it's not great. Because the other thing that I wrote as well to try and counter that is like, hey, if there is a game instance, then set the child actor class to nothing. I guess I could do some stuff like just double check about these things. I mean, it's running this entire construction script without verifying the skeletal mesh outside of the editor, so I should really have this like right over here. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt because it does help setting up the scene. Yeah. Also, another thing about this class is that it's it only loads on the server, so that should help somewhat. We'll keep this hooked up. I wonder if there's an auto activate that I could set on here. No. I was going to say, if there's an auto activation, I could just turn the auto activation off. Oh well. Thorny sort of editor tooling stuff. Well, it's rather annoying. Shouldn't make too much of an issue. Because, like, as you can see, it's just, like, not actually there, so. Alright. But then if I were to tell that marker to actually spawn that thing after, say, 2 seconds. Oh, yeah. So one thing about that fairy cage was this wants to be a rotation in world space, I believe. It's interesting. This is why I made this a function, because that wasn't supposed to happen. I would love to attach that to this, but it's just a bad idea. You also... Yeah, okay, so... This needs to go in here. This needs to go here. This can go away. These can go away. Don't need these prints anymore. Yeah, I'm going to send the location over with this. Move this around. This needs a bit of a cleanup. So yeah, we're adding that yaw as a way to do a little spin. Nice and simple. The fairy needs to move, basically. Fairy escape particle set. World location. Oh. Are you gonna let me do that? Oh, it's a, yeah. Fairy escape particle. That was a really bad name. Fairy escape timeline. This needs to have set world location to this location. Cool. So now if I boot that thing across the map, of course you don't move. Oh, that didn't move either. So that's super not cool. Oh, I suppose it's because I immediately set the relative rotation. Yeah. Am I allowed to attach it to that? Let's see what happens. Oh, still happens right there. So the geometry collection didn't actually move. So what I'll do is just promote this to a variable, which is like last location. Boom, boom. Slot these all in. We're going to take last location. We're going to set world location to this, which is basically just wherever it was plus this local. Should be fine. There you go. And then the only other thing is I just don't know if this is going to work, but we'll see. So that's cool. The issue there is probably that the fairy is not center movable. It is center movable. Oh yeah, but when you kick a geometry collection, the geometry collection starts simulating and it's not actually a real... Yeah. So what I will do is keep these attached to the mesh and do what I did before, which is the moment you enable chaos... In fact, why doesn't this just immediately explode on any damage? Isn't there a way to do that? It's just like even if you kick it. Yeah, I think you just set this to 0. And then it should be fine. So now you just can't kick it. There we go. Sorry. The only other thing is, what if I throw it? Whoop. And then if I were to throw it and actually run. Cool. The other thing that I wasn't super keen on originally was if I've got like a whole load of these fairy crates. She's like actually sat sideways. So it kind of looks a little bit dumb. So I need to figure that out. If I was to look at the visuals and say, what can I do about this? It's like, okay, well, what if she was just sort of floating stasis in the middle? Does this actor tick? This actor does not tick. I was going to say I could just have her rotating all the time. And it'd be fairly easy to do because we could just run a timeline that loops from 0 to 1. We just call it like rotation timeline. And we just set relative rotation. This is probably going to cost a lot on the memory. I wonder how many of these I could actually do. We'll see. So we'll go from A to B. We basically have like last rotation, new rotation, and every time we finish, we set the last location to relative rotation. Okay, relative rotation. This is just like jargon, blah blah. You just, yeah, this is pretty simple rubbish. It's just like when it finishes, cache the last rotation, set the new rotation to a random rotator. Include in roll. And then basically it will just lerp over and over and over. And I'll make it do that over the course of 5 seconds. And then you just grab that rotation timeline, you just say play from start. I'll just set this to like 360, 90, 45 or something, just some sort of rotation in there to begin with. Follow that. This just needs to be on begin play basically. This might be a little bit expensive, so I'll have to do a quick like stick 100 of them in the scene test. Okay, so just to save some overhead, we'll just take an actual crate, get rid of this, hit play. Look at stat FPS and stat game. So we're at 80. We've got one of them in the scene. She's just going to rotate over and over inside. She does seem to be sort of doing weird things. So I can just take a look at that. Why is she doing that? So she plays the rotation timeline, she comes in, she sets the relative rotation from A to B on a lerp, 0 to 1, then she gets to the end, she gets the relative rotation, whatever she had last, sets it as last rotation. So maybe this doesn't loop. And we can kind of get here and just say, delay by like some amount, and then just call it again. Maybe the issue is that there's some sort of race condition going on. Because then it's going to go from whatever the relative rotation is to the new rotation, which is a random rotation. One thing I'm noticing as well is that mesh is not sort of center aligned. So just bring it into the viewport. Yeah, you can see here it's like it's rotating from a bit of an odd location. Maybe it is perfectly centered. I don't know. Let's check. So we go pivot, center. I think the pivot was centered. Basically means in the fairy cage we can just say that should be smack in the middle basically. It doesn't look like it's in the middle. That does. So anyway, that's fun. Let's see if I can make those red bars go absolutely mental by just duplicating this 100 times. So the most of these that we might have in a level is around 30. I don't know if we'll ever have them this close to each other, and if we did, we're in for a world of pain, because that ain't good. So, yeah, I'm still 70 FPS, so it's fine. Until you start blowing them up. I think there's some configs that are wrong with my crate pieces because they're supposed to just shrink away. But that's not happening. Yeah, so I just need to double check that quickly. As a quick test, we can take like this large crate. You can see how those ones go away really fast. That's what we need on every actor. Allow removal on sleep. it does allow removal on sleep. So then I think it's like something inside these settings for this actor. So it's like sleep min, max 510. Remove on sleep, there you go, bonk. So what I need to do is kind of batch go through all of these asset actions, bulk edit by property matrix, remove on sleep. Yep, they're all true. The only one that wasn't true was my new fairy crate, which means the other stuff that I just made today will also be broken, so I may as well just bulk edit by these as well. Asset actions, bulk edit, remove on sleep. Yes, everything should remove on sleep. Cool. So now I can go through and get rid of this stack game thing. Whoa. So there's a bunch of actors that are doing nothing in my scene, but we're back at 90 FPS, like when that's the case. These are all basically asleep now. Yeah, an optimization would be to say, get actually rid of these. Yeah. That's cool. Should be the same for the ore. Yeah, so we should be able to have a whole ton of ore. And then have a pickaxe. Grab that pickaxe and just be like... Nice. All right, cool. Whoa. I think I found some myth. Oh, no, that's a grenade. Okay, that's cool. So the mission that I was building, Goblin modules. Yeah, so now we can actually see we've got a couple of these crates here. What I can do is set these one. Well, I can set them all actually to just be a random selection between. Oh, I did something wrong. We take these guys. And we say it's either or fairies. The fact that that's still happening on Dragon is really annoying. And we got some narcotics. So that's the one for like gathering. Yeah, so this can go in a folder just called collect evidence. Be alright if I could spell. Then you've got these ones which are for destruction objectives. Just put these down there. What are these ones for? I think this is also... Yeah, I think I've got 2 sets. Yeah, the idea was that in this tile all the enemies appear on the outside and all the gameplay appears on the inside depending on the level. So it's like, it's either going to be hostages, collection, or destruction, or waves, and then if it's waves it's just these guys on the outside, so yeah, you can just save all that. Sounds good, and then you go dungeon goblins, and then basically it just this room over and over again for testing. Oh, I did the same. I did the thing I did earlier. I opened the wrong asset. Right. Let's close a bunch of stuff down. So control P, goblin dungeon. This one. So yeah, then it just arranges that over and over, and we're only testing the destroy objective right now. So this is a heavy weapon. I need my weapon. Where did my weapon go? I'll take this one. I think I need more weapons. I need assistance. Cool, so just go back to my goblin modules and just check something. Cool, this goblin camp room. Let's go in there. Where are these actually floating? I didn't think they were. These are not floating. Not as much as it said they were. Alright, have a good one. if I didn't catch your message in time, speaking into the ether. See you another time. It's not cool. Why is that happening? So it says it's going to put it there. Does it have an offset? Oh my god, it does. I need to get rid of that transform offset. Right, let's do it right now. That transform offset is going to die. Find references, get transform offset, get the actors transform. Plus this offset, combine the rotators. Don't do any of that. Just take this and just spawn it right here. Unless you're a polygon, at which point can we break, add 90. It's basically just characters need to be raised, not literally every actor needs to be raised. And it's only this one, and it's only by 90 units. Cool. Save that, find references, get the editor visual, set the relative transform. Don't need to do that, just need to split, make it 90. In fact, I don't even need to move it, like the skeletal mesh just always needs to be 90 units higher than what it appears to, I believe. So it's like polygon AI. I guess not. You do not need to be moved. So both of these will spawn after 1 second. And you can't move because it's a nav mesh. I can't break that because I don't have a weapon. Alright. Cool. Oh, that's the point. So if I go... Alright. So now if I go Control P, Goblin Modules. And I have this that looks like this, and then I go Goblin Dungeon. Goblin Dungeon. Press play. Weapon. So another cool thing about this right, what I'm going to do, yeah, there's another cool thing about this. So let's go open the dungeon. I've got this grammar in which it's got 0 weight to be the small one. 0 weight. I've got this like small, medium, large kind of setup. I think. So it does shuffle them, if I remember correctly. Just need to double check. So we init the destruction mission, we do this, and then we just immediately resize it. So let's not immediately resize it. Let's first shuffle it, which means of all of the destructibles, we're going to get a random, at least a random selection. So that's cool. And then what I can do is come in, open the Goblin, I guess it was like GC Arena. GC underscore my room. I called it room. Come over here and be like, delete this, give this alchemy. So it's this like kind of hoping to create like a sweatshop vibe where these goblins are basically just making loads of drugs. Save that, go to Dungeon Goblin. So the whole point of this destruction mission, this raid, is to just go in and eventually you'll have like 40 things that you're supposed to destroy and you're just running through like, I just killed 3 guys in one swipe. So yes, stop cooking up berries. I heard an archer. I don't take kindly to archers. That one was pretty chocker full of stuff. But it's all good. I've stopped them. There's a load of prints on the left there about constraints that I'm a bit concerned about. Alright, well I've been that way. It's time to go this way. So I guess I only got a certain number of enemies, which was kind of meh. Whoa! Excuse me. There's even more rooms. Yeah, I only got a certain number of enemies. Ah! That was a surprise. How many enemies am I spawning in this dungeon? Goblin manager, or dungeon manager I should say. Normal. It only spawns 20 enemies. But then that's wrong anyway. It should be like 40. It's actually wrong. Always spawn more than you need to subdue. It's a bit of a worrying situation. I should probably change that in the defaults, but whatever. Whatever. Lowkey, it reminds me of Baldur's Gate scene with Balthazar making lanterns out of pixies. I probably subconsciously remember that. I just need to remember the guy's face. Oh, this dude. I pretty much just murdered this guy the moment I saw him because I was like, he looked pretty grim. No, actually, I saw him right at the end when he's like captured that woman and I just killed him. I was just like, yeah. My Baldur's Gate 3 character was overpowered. It was a dual-wielding ranger with sneak attack and fighter's second action. So I basically could kill any enemy in the game in my first, like, in my first attack, she would just do all that, and she was also a Gloom Shadow Ranger, so in the middle of combat she would just go invisible, just go somewhere else and do it again. Yeah, I properly power gamed that that Ranger. Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, because you go into one of the back rooms, if I remember, after you fight a bunch of summons. Huh. 6 PM, yeah. You went over copyright. That's funny. Say that to the Power World guys. I hope that came up in your class. It's just like, oh yeah, you know, gotta be careful where you step. You might make millions of dollars. Alright, anyway, so that's a destruction mission, sort of like vaguely set up. Gotta undo some of my debugs before I commit this. Shove that in there. We've got a loading screen somewhere that I also messed up. Shove that in there. That should be about it, really. When I init the destruction mission, it inits it based on this enemy count, which is all good and stuff. I really need to refactor this bloody thing. Actually, am I even using the difficulty counts for the init destruction? Yeah, destruction spawn count. Okay, cool. And then it should be, when I get to configure, it should be target count, yeah. That's the maximum number of targets, cool. Alrighty. It's looking pretty good. Yeah, they stopped taking pictures after that. I don't know why. They just stopped. Anyway, I've got to go. I've got to have a meeting with the other guys on guts. So I will probably carry on with these at some point. Finish those up because we need traps for some reason. Oh, there was traps on my board. Destroy evidence. That can be moved now. We've got destroy evidence to set up. You just got to do it properly. There's one more mission actually that I need to do, which is like arrest X perps, and that also shouldn't be too difficult, but it requires a bunch of UI, so I'll do that next. So that'll be like tomorrow morning or later this evening. Anyway, I'll catch you guys on the other side of this evening, as in tomorrow.